Hey guys, I'm Dov, and today I'm back with more Total War Warhammer 2 online action. Today we're back with the Tomb Kings, going to be taking part in an FFA free-for-all, so let's get to the build very quickly. I've got 2 Bone Giants and a Casket of Souls. Good old Khatep's going to be leading the way. He's up on a chariot here. He's got a Tomb Prince supporting, front line of Skeleton Spears, and 3 Shopti Great Bows. For the greenskins across from us, couple Savage Orc Biggins, Nasty Skulkers, and Night Gobbos. More Biggins, Crimson Killaz, which you don't see these guys too often, so nice to see them in a battle. Rusty Airs, we've got more Biggins, the Arachnarok Queen, Wurzag, and a Broken Tusk Mob. That is going to be Krios. For Kapolikan's Beastman here, he's got front line of Bestigor with Korok's Manrippers and another Bestigor, some Gore herds, couple Ungor Spearman herd, Butchers of Kalkengard, the Cygor here. It's also got a Gore Bull, Beast Lord, a couple of Centaurs of Throwing Axes, and the Blackhorns Ravagers and Vanguard. And for Shetland Apache's Skaven here, he's got Gutter Runners with Poison, 2 Doom Wheels, 2 Rat Ogres, a whole bunch of Skaven Slaves, and some Storm Vermin Sword and Board. A 3rd Rat Ogre it looks like as well. More Slaves, Slingers, and Slave Spearmen as well. Without further ado, let's get the battle underway. You can see the Casket of Souls going to be ripping off a shot across the way into the poor little Skaven here. Unfortunately, yeah, we already made one shot and it didn't make the best contact. We are also shooting at a very cheap unit, so honestly at this point probably would have been better to shoot at the orcs. So we're going to go ahead and switch targets over there. You can see these Shopti Great Bows firing straight into the savages here. Obviously these Savage Biggins, no, they're just regular Savage Orcs. I thought maybe they were Savage Biggins, but nonetheless, they are going to be a pretty powerful unit in the front line, so it's going to be important that we take them down before they just munch through my Spearmen. So the Shopti Great Bows doing a very good job there. Meanwhile, the Bone Giants are firing in at the Orc Boar Biggins. Managed to get a couple of kills already. The Arachnarok Queen would also be a very good target. Meanwhile, over here, you can see the Beastmen have come forward, and the Gutter Runners and the Doom Wheels are starting to push through. The Cygor tossed a nice rock there, managed to land on a Rat Ogre, but Shetland doing a great job just trying to isolate various units and push them off the side here. Rat Ogres did manage to get a hold of the Centaurs with Throwing Axes, which is very unfortunate for the Beastmen. You can see the Rats just kind of pulling back away, skirmishing a little bit, using those Gutter Runners to good effect while he kind of wheels around. Meanwhile, the Wah's been popped, and the Spiderlings come in to interrupt the Bone Giant. Then the Broken Tusk Mob and the Arachnarok Queen herself are going to follow up. Khatep, meanwhile, is running around on these Biggins here, dropping Vortexes and other various buffs there. You can see the Tomb Prince has also been tossed in here. We're going to go ahead and throw down the Sandstorm here. That will do some good damage to these Orc boys. My idea with Khatep was just to have him be the the Vortex, so he's got the 2 Vortex, the one bound and the other one. Gonna get a nice side charge into these Savage Orcs and then pull away through the spears to try and screen out Wurzag there, who is doing a very good job casting spells. We've got all the Shopti Great Bows switched over to firing at the Arachnarok Queen, as is the other Bone Giant. However, because this Bone Giant is, his line of sight is somewhat blocked by his friend there, he's not able to really get good shots at the Arachnarok Queen. So we're going to switch targets in just a minute, but I mean, obviously the greenskins are going to push through the infantry fight pretty heavily here. You can see already Skeleton Spears starting to crumble away, so that's not great. Meanwhile, over on this side, a very pitched engagement with the Beastmen just slugging it out here. You can see, yeah, Korok's Manrippers fighting against Skaven Slaves. Not the best, but I mean, don't really have a lot of choice at this point. Skaven Slaves are just being pushed around. Butchers of Kalkengard getting in here, fighting right on top of these Storm Vermin Sword and Shield. Is a great target for them, of course, but ooh, I heard some magic go off. I didn't quite see where it went, but Gorbul's trying to take down a Doom Wheel. Great target for him. You can see, though, a nice concave of these Gutter Runners just firing into the side here. Going to do some devastating damage to those Blackhorns Ravagers. Meanwhile, also in the back line, Skaven Slave Spears bogging down the Cygor. It's a great use of them. Over here, we've got one Bone Giant starting to crumble, and another Vortex going to be unleashed right in the middle of these Orcs who are kind of blobbed up around my Shopti Great Bows. Unfortunately, at this point, most of my infantry is gone. We did manage to get a new Shopti summon in the back line, though, to take out some Nasty Skulkers. We're also going to take out the Rusty Airs as well. So it's definitely back and forth. I'm ahead on points right now, but Krios is only about less than 1,000 points behind, and I am somewhat losing this battle here. You can see this Casket of Souls still online. Another Vortex going to be unleashed right on top of the Crimson Killaz there, and it does do a pretty decent amount of damage. Kind of hangs around right on top of him. It does look like it maybe took down a couple of unit models there at least, so excuse me, that in and of itself is pretty beneficial. Khatep, though, is having to run away from Wurzag. Thankfully, he's on the chariot, so he can kind of push through infantry. And the Tomb Prince is going to be here supporting, you know, giving that extra physical resistance and getting some good attacks in on Wurzag as well. The Curse goes off to drain out a bunch of units in that pocket, but at this point, the Tomb Prince is probably going to get taken down. He's surrounded by the Savage Orc Biggins, who just got the Wa, and here we go, also being popped on Wurzag himself as he chases down Khatep. Khatep's going to give himself some physical resistance to try and stay in the fight here. And yeah, you can see the one Bone Giant had gotten taken down. This other Bone Giant's already starting to get taken down, but we have been able to do some really solid damage to the Broken Tusk Mob and the Ragnarok Queen, so it's not a complete waste. Wurzag decides to come in and finish off the Casket of Souls here. Again, the Tomb Prince going to be hanging around. He is crumbling, unfortunately, at this point, so he's going to be offline relatively soon, but we are going to try and get one last charge into Wurzag, and yeah, he doesn't get the attack animation off before Wurzag just domes him, but Khatep's going to come back around, and since Khatep has 75 charge bonus on the chariot, I figured, hey, let's just charge Wurzag in the face and see what happens. We did manage to get a couple hits there, but unfortunately the Spiderling's just poisoning Khatep and dragging him down there. We're going to set ourselves in the middle of this blob here and go ahead and pull up another Vortex. Do some good damage to those Savage Orc Biggins. Unfortunately, it didn't go exactly where I wanted it to. Now it's coming back around and getting on top of those Biggins and the Savage Biggins. But yeah, at this point, the Greenskins are going to be able to clean me up. You can see the Skaven in the last phases of cleaning up the Beastmen, who just weren't able to sustain. Gorbul's still fighting here, but he's being pushed around by Rat Ogres and run over by a Doom Wheel. Oh, looks like he might be able to get a hit. Nice hit on the Doom Wheel there. The Cygor's also throwing in rocks, but at this point, most of the Beastmen's support is gone. It's just their heroic units and the Cygor left, so rough stuff for them. Kapolikin's only managed to get about 6,000 points so far, and you can see Krios has gone ahead and passed me with the last 3,000 points as he took down the last of my high-value targets there. Khatep's still alive, going to give himself some physical resistance and go ahead and charge in. He does get a couple hits here on Wurzag, does a tiny bit of damage, but of course Khatep not really meant for this kind of engagement. If I had Overcast Cursed Blaze to give him like a bonus versus large, he might do a bit better, but yeah, that's going to be it for old Khatep and the spears here. Shetland starting to move towards the middle of the map here, this kind of river crossing area. The Beastmen trying to rally the last of their troops over to the Cygor, but it's probably too little too late. So let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit through this mid-game here as the Skaven go ahead and form up. You can see the Beast Lord chasing around the Skaven leadership. And who's that? Is that Tretch? Yep, Tretch just getting chased around, but the Gorbul now and the Beast Lord probably going to get finished off here by these Rat Ogres and the Doom Wheel and so on. You can see the ranged units for the Skaven are pushing forward to start skirmishing with the Greenskins. You can see I have been eliminated at this point. All my units are gone, so sitting at third place. Kapolikin probably won't be able to catch up, but I doubt that I'll be able to. Well, obviously I'm not going to be able to win, so that is pretty much it for me. But that being said, the Spiderling is going to get dragged down here. Broken Tusk Mob going to try and come in, but they don't have any kind of a missile block chance, so they could potentially take some nasty fire from these gutter runners and so on. Yeah, you can see the last of the Beastmen getting finished off. Only the Cygor still online at this point, which is going to get charged by the Doom Wheel, which, again, not really meant for fighting large targets, but because it has good charge bonus, it can do okay. Meanwhile, here comes the Skaven rush. You can see the last of the AP Gloonies charging in, no fear, unbreakable. The Rat Ogre is just going to bowl straight through him here and then get a little bit distracted by the Spiderling summons. But yeah, you can see the Ragnarok Queen's coming forward. Did manage to catch some gutter runners out here on the side, exposed, so they're going to get cleaned up by like the Broken Tusk Mob and some of these other units here. So yeah, Skaven and the Greenskins now facing off here in the center for one final pitched engagement, and Shetland Apache is just slightly behind Krios here, so it should be a very interesting and close battle to finish things out here. So we'll fast forward a little bit more as these guys, very nice Warp Lightning there from Shetland Apache, but the Ragnarok Queen's going to come forward and start fighting right on top of these Storm Vermin here. Great target. Actually looks like maybe pulling back a little bit there. Yeah, a lot of the supporting units for the Greenskins are not doing great in terms of their leadership, which is always tough. But yeah, finally the Greenskins going to go ahead and turn and fight here with the Arachnarok Queen. Gutter Runners getting a little bit overzealous, overchasing a little bit, and the Crimson Killaz going to come in and start to mop them up. Yeah, Crimson Killaz, they're definitely one of the worst regiments of renown in the game, in my opinion. I'm planning on making a top 5 worst regiments of renown list, and rest assured they are going to be up there. You can see Wurzag, though, pushing through, dropping those buffs, and yeah, now is the final big blob engagement that we've been looking for. The Crimson Killaz getting in here against the Storm Vermin. There's Rat Ogres, there's regular Biggins, Skulkers running around, all sorts of Skaven all over the place. It's just a very, very chaotic engagement here. And you can see the Arachnarok Queen managed to somehow get way in the heck over there. I don't know really what they were doing, but anyway. Rat Ogres pushing through, trying to chase off Wurzag here. You can see they're going very aggressively after him. Obviously, he's a very high-value target, so good choice. Crimson Killaz are really the only one that's holding out at this point with their great leadership, and they are starting to rack up quite a few kills against this big old blob of Skaven infantry. It's probably one of the few places that the Crimson Killaz will actually excel, is fighting in a big infantry blob like this. Especially against Skaven slaves. They'll just rack up the kills. But, yeah, Spider fighting in the back line against some of the Gutter Runners. It is taking some fire, but only from Skaven slaves, which will do almost no damage to it. Ooh, brutal stuff. Yeah, with the Spider here, I don't know that the Skaven necessarily have the tools to shut down the Spider. You can see the Crimson Killaz pushing through, just wrecking through those infantry. They're going to get Tretch now as well and start to surround him, and Tretch is in for a bad time. He's just going to get whomped on by these Crimson Killaz here. You can see him starting to take some pretty severe damage. Once those hits start to make contact there, they do a lot of damage. This Queen's starting to get a little low, taking just fire this whole time here, and over a long battle definitely getting worn down, but nonetheless still able to rack up quite a few kills here in the late game, and the Terror, of course, is very key against the Skaven. So yeah, we'll fast forward a little bit more as there is a little bit more grinding here. The Arachnarok Queen does in fact rout at one point, but the the Doomwheel's going to try and chase him off, but the Arachnarok Queen actually comes back from routing and turns the tables on the Doomwheel, and suddenly the Doomwheel's got to run away. But the Crimson Killaz still holding out here, just mopping up as many Skaven as they can. Just, it's like, you know, Grimgor in the story, just in the tunnels, just hewing back and forth for days upon end, you know, cutting through the Skaven. Unfortunately, the Crimson Killaz probably going to get worn down and routed off here. Yep, very unfortunate for the Greenskins, but they were able to get a lot of kills. Krios is just barely like 400 points, 300 points behind Shetland Apache. So at this point, though, most of his units are routed off, and I think Shetland Apache is going to take this one home. So we'll fast forward through the last bit here as the Crimson Killaz and the Arachnarok Queen are shattered, and then finally the Cygor that's been hanging around this whole time comes forward and gets routed as well. So very fun stuff. Well played to everyone involved. Super fun FFA. Hope you guys enjoyed watching that one. In terms of the army breakdowns here, for my forces, of course, Khatep getting a ton of kills with the Vortexes and the Chariot. Not the most competitive pick, but it is certainly a lot of fun. 96 kills in the Casket of Souls. The two Bone Giants did underperform a little bit. I think if I had shot at the Arachnarok Queen on the approach more, instead of shooting it like the Broken Tusk Mob, for example, it may have potentially gone better for me. Just in general, I needed to focus fire the Shabti Great Bows and the Bone Giants, I think more on the Arachnarok Queen. That would have been able to secure and then retreat and just continuously, you know, fire and retreat at the Greenskin infantry there. But nonetheless, a fun battle for Krios. Crimson Killaz ended up getting a ton of kills in the late game, and this one Savage Orc Biggin managed to get some XP chevrons as well. The Nasty Skulkers, despite taking that rough engagement early on, were also able to do quite well. And of course, the Arachnarok Queen helping to drag down the Toon Bone Giants and also taking out a ton of Skaven. I'm a big fan of the Arachnarok Queen. I've been seeing it used quite a bit recently, and the Spiderling summons are just so good. Very good stuff. For Shetland's victorious Skaven, yeah, just kills across the board here, kind of everyone contributing. The Storm Vermin, the Gutter Runners, the Doom Wheels both did quite well, of course, as well, and the Rat Ogres racking up quite a few kills. So just a very nice, balanced Skaven army that was able to do a lot of work. And then for Kapolikin, had a little bit of a rough engagement there against Shetland in the front line. A lot of his units didn't really perform. A few did. 190 on the Korok's Man Rippers, not too bad. 130 on the Blackhorns Ravagers. 20 in an XP Chevron for these best score herd. 130 for the Cygor, and 83 for the Butchers of Kalkengard. So not too bad at the end of the day, but just a little bit rough, especially for like the Centaurs with throwing axes and for the heroic units and so on. But fun stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you next time.